Ladies and gentlemen, are we live? Tonight I have the clone of Snake Mother with me. It is Wonderfen, the beautiful lady, and she will be reading Misfortune.gb with me. Now, I'm going to begin the reading. Misfortune is an obscure game for the original Game Boy. Since no known hard copies or ROMs exist, all information about the game is derived from personal accounts and a scant assemblage of screenshots. The game does not contain any credits, and whoever created it is still unknown to this day. The few people who have experienced it consider it to be one of the scariest video games ever made.
Given its age and cult following among rare horror game enthusiasts, it's entirely possible that the authors of widely known creepypastas such as Sonic.exe and Lavender Town Syndrome drew inspiration from Misfortune.
I see, and this is one of the screenshots from the game, so please enjoy that. It looks like a Pokemon kind of dealio there. Anyway, the player now, the story and concept behind the game kind of works like this. The player controls what appears to be a young boy in a strange gothic building. After briefly exploring the building, the player is confronted by a malevolent being. Despite the character never identifying itself, some people, citing notable similarities, claim that it may be a representation of Baphomet, Beelzebub, or even the devil himself.
Upon meeting the mysterious creature, a dialogue box will appear within the text. I exist within the very fabric of reality. Do you wish to challenge me? This is followed by a yes or no choice. Should the player choose yes, the being replies, then let's begin.
Yeah, so once again showing you the same image, this was the choice that the player receives. Now, in terms of gameplay, the player is transported to a series of maze-like rooms, each filled with pit drops, locked doors, keys, and traps. The objective for the player is to progress through each room by either reaching the stairs to the next level or solving some kind of puzzle. This can include answering riddles or choosing correct doors or pathways. The most well-known example is in a level where 4 small cabins are shown. And give me a moment. 4 small cabins are shown on screen, and a dialogue box will appear that reads, "Choose wrong and misfortune will befall your loved ones. Are you ready to play?" I believe I have a screenshot of that as well. Is it here? Yes, it is here. Choose wrong and misfortune will befall your loved ones. Are you ready to play? Now, should the player ever make a mistake throughout the game, the screen will cut to black before showing a more detailed image of the demon, along with a dialogue box reading, "I am God here," in what appears to be blood-styled writing. While Wonderfen continues, I will show you that.
And now we have alleged side effects. Rumors pertaining to the game's alleged harmful effects began to surface on the internet around the late 1990s. Players claim to have begun experiencing ongoing depression and dread shortly after losing and seeing the game over screen. Once prominent members of online forums who told such claims are thought to have died or disappeared when they suddenly became inactive without warning. Heated discussions soon dominated these forums for some time, but the mystery never seemed to be getting any closer to being solved. Some wrote the whole thing off as a tasteless practical joke. Others believe that viewing the image of the evil character after losing the game can really cause the player to experience misfortune as the game's antagonist promised. Soon, people began to speculate that the eerie soundtrack of the game was the cause.
As for the soundtrack, the music in the game consisted of deep, buzzy tones and off-key melodies. The game had a remarkably unsettling soundtrack despite composition being limited to the 8-bit Game Boy sound bank. But if you will recall the sound of Lavender Town, I think a similar effect could definitely have been achieved. Now, the game over screen had especially erratic, almost nauseating music, with a very high frequency that accompanied it. Rumor has it that this very track could somehow influence moods and thought patterns. Of all the tracks in the game, only the theme that plays when first meeting the demonic entity can be found on the internet today, and it will be the track that we will listen to at the end of this video. Wonderfen, please do not leave me to die alone. Now, could you please read the next section?
Availability. Searching for the playable ROMs or cartridges online is futile, because none exist. In fact, most of those who have played it directly hadn't sought out looking for it, but rather stumbled upon it by accident. According to a first-hand accounts, certain copies of various Game Boy titles contain Misfortune in its entirety. Next one is yours.
Thank you. The means for accessing it through these games vary, but typically involves exploiting glitches or using cheating devices, although some had detailed what they had done to trigger Misfortune to start. Attempts by others using the same methods have always failed. Another common observation was that many of the sprites in Misfortune have been copied from their host games, so if you look closely, this is all copied from Pokemon. These are all Pokemon-based sprites. I'll show you one more image based on that. Don't worry, viewing the images won't cause you any misfortune yet. But yeah, this is the one where the demonic entity chases the player, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, chases the player, and yeah, you have to sort of evade him. And the host games that sort of contain this are Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, Pokemon Red, Spud's Adventure, Puji Carrot, and Atelier Marie, which is a Japanese title. Would you like to do the closing thoughts, Wonderfen?
For this section, I'm going to be speaking to you a lot less impartially and a lot more personally. It's important that you read this part.
Yeah, I think you can just take that whole thing.
Now, is the game really cursed? Does the spectre really bide within and snare the innocent in its deadly game? Who knows? What I do know is that the game definitely exists. I also know what it can do. I've never played it myself, you see, but I knew someone who did. A good friend of mine, actually. We were closer than brothers, and we told each other everything. He was the most enthusiastic, outgoing guy I ever met. Like me, he was really into video games. Sure enough, one day he told me he found a spooky new side game hidden in Pokemon. He showed it to me, and even back then it gave me an odd feeling. Although, to be fair, I was always easily scared.
You know, that guy's description, why does it sound like me? Holy crap.
Quite sounds like you.
I know, that is the terrifying part. Okay, well, soon after, he started talking less and less, and later he'd ignore my calls or tell me he was sick or busy when I invited him out. He became something of a recluse. I did still sometimes get to see him at high school, but he rarely spoke and snapped at me when I pried too much over why he was acting that way. About a month later, he got off the train after school. He said goodbye for the first time in weeks. I'll never forget the look he gave me that day. He was the macho, nothing gets to me type of guy, and he always masked his emotion really well. I detect a slight smile on Wonderfen's face because, this is getting creepy. But now he had a face filled with grief, like he was about to cry. He made me promise him one thing before he left, that I never played that game. That was the last time we spoke.
The next morning, they found his scratched and bloodied corpse hanging from his disassembled weight machine. The police concluded that he'd managed to lift 220 pounds of weights over his head with a cord still attached, looped it around his neck, and released it over the other side of the machine, causing his strangulation as the weight on the other side yanked him upwards. The most horrible detail was that he was found with his hands clutching the inside of the makeshift noose, as if he were trying to tug it loose. That was it, however. The case was closed.
Personally, I don't believe what's happened, but if you are a collector or perhaps just hearing the legend and want to experience the game for yourself, you should reconsider. Even if you deny the existence of demons and curses, the misfortune that will befall you is very real. You have been warned. Well, we have been warned, Wonderfen, but let's listen to the soundtrack and see what happens.
Yes.
But you know, the fact that while you were reading that, I saw you getting this kind of like smile on your face, because I knew that, outgoing guy, oh god, he's talking about me. Shit. Well, okay, let's hope I don't die. Screen capture, there we go. Okay, let us listen to this. This is the soundtrack from Misfortune. Oh my god, that's horrible.
Don't worry, I have it playing on my end.
For an 8-bit system, oh thank god the phone's ringing.
my friend, something is behind you.
Well, perfect timing. I'm not going to answer that. A sound like breathing.
I could say that I hear it.
Yeah, I think that through the beat he takes a breath. There's a sound like sounding like a breath kind of effect. But wow, okay. In terms of the track itself, I would say that it is what I would call it's very similar to the feeling you get when you listen to the Lavender Town music. It's just terrible, hidoi, disgusting. And the fact that they could create this with Game Boy is pretty amazing. But you know that well, I can certainly see how that music alone would make you feel Misfortune. I think I'm gonna have to listen to one of WonderFen's playlists after this. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this reading. If you guys ever find Misfortune, please play it and upload it on the internet. And then if you die, I promise I will show up at your funeral, but I really want to see you play through it, okay? So that's all from us. See you next time.